Your life has options. Option trading education. Just like life, the stock market is full of options. Learn more today.
Hello and welcome back to Your Life Has Options. Today I'm going to be talking about some of the basics of what an options contract is, as I've had a few questions about this. An option is a contract of 100 shares of stock in which you sell or buy the right, but not the obligation, to take possession of the shares by a pre-agreed date at a pre-agreed price. So every contract of options contains these three parts. First, the premium to be paid by the buyer of the option to the seller. Then there is the expiry. That is the last date on which the right to take the shares exists. After that date, the option expires and is no longer in force. Third is the strike price. That's the price at which you pre-agree to make the transaction. There are two basic kinds of options. One is called a put, and the other is called a call. A put is the right to make someone else take the shares at the pre-agreed strike price. A call would be the opposite. That is the right to take from the seller those shares that are represented by the contract. I'm showing you here now a simplified options chain, which is a table of the strike prices for each expiry date and the premiums associated with that. And let's run through a transaction to help make this something that's a bit more clear. See at the top of the chart, there are the letters NVDA. Those are the call letters for NVIDIA. And so that's the issue that we're dealing with. Near the top in the center, you see the expiry date. That's 8/21/2026, which would be the final day in which the obligation exists. And then on the left-hand side, you see the calls, the last close numbers, which are the prices or the premiums at which at the top of the chart, you can see NVDA. That is the call letters for NVIDIA. So this is an actual real-world example of what's called an options chain, or a chart of the different strike prices and corresponding premiums that would be paid. You can see at the top, the expiry date is 8/21/2026. So the last day that this obligation is in place would be August 21st. Down the middle, you can see the different strike prices that are available to buy and sell. To the left-hand side, you can see the calls. That's the premium amount to be paid to obligate the seller. And on the right-hand side are the puts. And same thing, you can see the last close list. Those are the premium rights, or the premium rates to be paid in order to obligate the seller. So I did an actual transaction in this stock. I currently have a put, which in my strategy, which is called the options wheel, I'm always beginning, or almost always beginning, by selling puts. So I sold a put at $195. So, and I received, well, I don't recall what I received on that, but if you were to do that transaction today, it would be $4.70 per share that you would be paid if you're the seller to take upon yourself the obligation to provide those shares at the $195 per share. And remembering there's 100 shares per contract, so that would be $19,500 you would be obligated to provide those shares if you're called out. So that's the amount you would receive by selling at $195. In the case of the stock not going down, the contract simply expires and has no value and is not in force any longer. So the premium you received for selling that obligation is yours to keep, and the cash that you had in your account to complete that transaction if needed also stays in your account. So you can simply play the same scenario over and over until the price moves to a place where you're obligated to take the shares. Just a note on strategy, if you're going to play in the options game, you have to have some idea of where the value of the stock should be. And you have to be pretty certain about that, which is not at all the same thing as being right. So in my opinion, NVIDIA is currently undervalued, and so I'm all kinds of happy to take in shares at this level. We'll see over time if I'm right or not. Everybody has to make their own judgment on that. So at any rate, I hope that this helps clear up some of the basic concepts of what an option is. We'll get into defining a lot more of the terms that I'll be regularly using in the future. But this should give you the very fundamental idea of what an option is and is at the heart of running the options wheel that I have. Like I said, I'm pretty much always selling these positions, being paid for selling those positions, and thus far that's worked out really well for me. So I hope all goes well for you, and look forward to talking to you again soon. And remember, your life has options. Just a note here at the end, I have a book that you can find on Amazon that goes through all of the basics related to running an options wheel. If you're interested in investing in this way, then I would consider acquiring that book to help give you a further depth in the investments that we're doing. You're going to have to, over time, accumulate some of your own experience to get a solid feel for how to run the options wheel well. So the book will help give you some foundation, but nothing is ever going to replace having experience in the market. So again, hope all's going well, and we'll talk to you again soon.